Hello, today we're going to be deep frying oyster mushrooms, white oyster mushrooms. So the first thing you need to do is get some white or oyster mushrooms from either the store or if you're growing them yourself. Today we're harvesting some that I actually grew, and my wife's going to be cooking with them. It's really simple to deep fry them, especially if you buy the batter from the store, which that's what we've done. We've purchased some mushroom batter, which you can make some standard batter. You can Google it, or I'll try to leave a recipe or a link below. You just want to harvest your mushrooms, and then we'll go over here and get the batter and batter them up and fry them. So the next thing you want to do is remove the stems on the bigger ones, or all of them. And the bigger ones you'll want to cut either in half or wide strips. You could leave it whole if you want to, but I prefer to cut them into strips. About that big is good. Just make sure you get rid of that big hunking stem. The stem is edible, but for this it ain't really going to be good if we leave the stem on it. So after you give the mushrooms a quick rinse underwater, you want to take your package of batter, and on this one you dip it in dry and then mix the batter together and then dip it in. Basically all this batter is wheat flour, yellow corn, flour meal, salt, parquet, and a little bit of baking soda. So you can make it basically at home. I just bought it because it's quicker, it's easy, mushroom kind. So you just want to dip them in the dry batter, throw them in there and dust them, and then we'll take some of that batter and we'll mix some of the water solution batter up and dip them in it and fry them. Just cover them completely. And when you're doing this, make sure you shake off any excess of the powder. You don't want too much on there. The point of putting this on there is so the batter sticks to them. So you get the mushrooms wet, make the powder stick to it, to make the batter stick to it. So it'll turn out good though. So this recipe calls for 1/2 of the flour cornmeal mix and then 1/3 cup of water. And you mix them into a bowl until it's all mixed up real good. And then you dip the mushrooms in them and then you deep fry it. So you'll just want to take the pieces and dip them in the batter, and then sit them in the grease or your deep fryer, whatever you happen to be using. Just make sure you cover them real good and let any of the excess stuff drain off before you put it in the grease. These are barely touching the wool. The smaller ones, yeah, you can leave whole if you want. I always leave the smaller ones whole. Just keep repeating until you get as many as you can in there. I don't like to overpower them, put a bunch of them in there, so kind of keep them spaced out the best you can so they don't stick. Alright, so we got the oil up to 360 degrees, and what we're going to do is drop these in here, and we're going to put the lid on. And you'll let them sit in there from 2 to 2.5 minutes. Depending on how big of strips they are, it could be from 1 to 1.5 minutes. So you just want to keep an eye on them until they're golden brown, basically. And repeat the process. Well, there it is, some deep fried oyster mushrooms. You know, us Texans will try to deep fry anything we get our hands on. So I'm going to go enjoy these now with my dinner. We're going to have some fish and chips. And by I mean chips, it's potatoes. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.